Every individual walking this planet is born with a unique blend of talents, experiences, and gifts. Some of us find these gifts early in life, while others stumble upon them after years of struggle and self-discovery. But no matter how we find them, one truth remains universal. Our skills have value, not just emotional or personal value, but real, tangible, economic value. Yet too often, people give away their most valuable asset, skills they've worked hard, not because they lack worth, but because they haven't yet realized their own. Today, I want to challenge that mindset and help you see your skill for what it is, a currency of power, impact, and independence. You should never spend that currency. You see, when we offer our expertise without compensation, we aren't just giving our time. We are giving away the years it took to build that skill, the late nights, the rejections, the practice, the failures. Think about the chef who spent a decade perfecting their recipes, now expected to cook for free as a favor, or just to paint something for exposure, not then to just being offered pizza, since being offered pizza instead of payment, not 50%. That their journey, their growth, their effort is somehow not worth the price. When you give away your work for free, you allow the world to undervalue you. Not because they don't respect you, but because you've taught them. When someone asks you to use your gift for nothing, they're not always trying to take advantage of you. Often they simply don't understand the cost behind the scenes. And it's your job, not theirs, to make sure your boundaries are clear. If you don't define your worth, the world will define it for you, and it usually sets that number at zero. The truth is, people respect what they pay for. When you price yourself properly, when you demand what you're worth, something shifts. You're not just seen as a talented person. You're seen as a professional, someone who has earned the right to charge for the value they bring. And that shift changes how people talk to you, work with you, and refer you. Now, I'm not saying you should never help up. Mentorship is beautiful. Volunteering can be meaningful. But there's a massive difference between choosing to serve someone because you care and being manipulated into serving because you feel guilty, or it must be intentional, not accidental. If you're giving your gift for free, make sure it's on your terms, not because someone else is trying to get something for nothing. Because if you keep saying yes to every free request, you're saying no to the opportunities that could actually change your life. Let me tell you something critical: making fortunes from skills they haven't even mastered. While you're still second-guessing whether you're good enough to charge, they've simply understood the game. They've learned that confidence often matters more than perfection, and that value isn't just about talent. It's about positioning, mindset, and courage. You might have the better product, the sharper skill, the deeper insight, but if you don't back it up with belief and business sense, someone with half your talent will out-earn and outshine you. That's the reality. Harsh but true. It's not arrogant to charge for your work. It's not greedy. It's not selfish. It's responsible. Because when you earn, you grow. You serve more. When you serve more, you create impact. Money is not the enemy of purpose. It's a fuel for it. Every dollar you earn from your skill gives you freedom. Freedom to improve, to expand, to rest, to invest back into your craft, and most importantly, to say no. When you have income from your skills, then you can build a life on your own terms, and that's something no amount of free work can ever give you. There's also something deeper at play here, something psychological. Every time you give your work away for free, it starts to believe that maybe it isn't worth much after all. That maybe you're not really a professional. That maybe people are doing you a favor by letting you work. And over time, that belief poisons your mindset. It makes you afraid to ask for more. It makes you hesitant to negotiate. It makes you shrink when you should be standing tall. The antidote to that self-doubt is action. Start asking for what you deserve. Start charging what you're worth. Start owning your greatness without apology. There will always be people who try to test your boundaries. It'll just take a minute. You'll get exposure. We don't have a budget, but this could lead to more work. Don't fall for the trap. Exposure doesn't pay rent. Future promises don't pay today's bills. Your time is finite. Your energy is limited. Your skills are precious. Treat them that way. The more you value yourself, the more the world will follow suit. And those who don't, they were never your people to begin with. You are not here to play small. You're not here to be the backup plan, the free option, the last-minute favor. You are here to build, to lead, to earn. And to do that, you must protect your value like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your future, your freedom, your fulfillment, they all depend on how seriously you take your own. The people who rise to the top in any field aren't always the most talented. They're the most strategic, the most consistent, the most unapologetic about what they're worth. Be that person. Stop waiting for someone to validate. Stop hoping the world will notice your effort if you keep giving it away for free. Step up. Put a price on your work. Stand firm when someone tries to undervalue you. Because once you do, you'll see everything change. Your income will grow. Your confidence will multiply. And the kind of people you attract, clients, partners, opportunities, will rise to meet the standard you've set. It all begins with one powerful decision: to never again do for free what you've mastered through blood, sweat. There's a moment in every creator's journey when they realize the world won't value them until they start valuing themselves. It doesn't come from applause nor from compliments. It comes from a decision to stop offering your masterpiece as if it were disposable. You didn't learn your craft by accident. You didn't wake up one morning with the knowledge and precision you now possess. It took time. It took sacrifice, failure, and frustration, and the relentless pursuit of mastery. And that journey is, well, allow others to enjoy the fruit of your labor while you walk away empty-handed. Every time you want to charge or work for free out of fear, you teach others that your work isn't worth much, and worth much, you teach yourself that your effort is worth. Think of the carpenter who spends days carving perfection only to be offered exposure instead of payment, or the designer who delivers brilliance but agrees to be paid the next time. Next time never comes if you train people that you're okay with nothing. The next time they need something, they'll look for someone else who says yes without conditions. This is how people get used, not because they lack value, but because they hesitate to declare it. Your skill is your signature. It's the fingerprint you leave on every job, every piece, every solution you offer. When you do it for free, it dilutes your signature to methods and ethics that it can be duplicated by anyone or given away on demand, but it can't nobody else. Nobody else has walked your road. What you offer is not just skill, it's the result of your... That deserves to be respected, and respect often begins with a price tag. Some people say, but I'm just starting out. I need to practice. That's understandable in the very beginning. Practice is essential. Experience matters, but at some point you're no longer practicing your performance. You're delivering, you're solving problems, you're providing results, and when your work creates results, it deserves to be rewarded. Free labor should never become a long-term strategy, because the longer you stay in that zone, the harder it becomes to break out. People who get used to paying you nothing rarely start paying you more. You have to graduate yourself. You have to decide that the trial period is over and the professional chapter demands courage. It's not easy to look someone in the eye and say, this is my rate. It's not easy to risk rejection, but every time you do it, you reclaim a piece of your power. You remind yourself that you are not just someone who does things, you are someone who delivers value, and value is a... The fear of losing a client or opportunity by asking for money is understandable, but here's the truth. The clients worth having are the ones who respect your boundaries. If someone walks away because you won't work for free, let them walk. They were never going to honor your worth. Remember this, undercharging and over-delivering might make people happy, but it will leave you drained. It leads to burnout, frustration, and the quiet resentment that builds when you know you're giving too much for too little. You don't just lose money, you lose energy, time, and confidence. And when your confidence breaks down, everything else follows. You stop reaching out. You stop promoting your work. You hesitate before accepting new challenges. That's the silent cost of giving away your gift for free. Let's talk about balance. When you're skilled at something, people will come out of nowhere with requests. Friends, family, strangers on the internet. Everyone wants a quick favor, but behind every quick favor is a portion of your life being taken. One favor turns into 5, one yes becomes... And soon your days are filled with unpaid work that benefits everyone but you. Set your lines early. Be kind, but firm. You're allowed to say, I can't do this for free. You're allowed to say, this is my business, not mine. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your time and your energy. Saying no is hard, especially when you have a generous heart. But generosity without boundaries becomes self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice, when repeated over and over, turns into self-erasure. You start fading from your own story. That's not noble. It's dangerous. The world needs what you do, but it also needs you to be strong, stable, and empowered. That only happens when you place value on your work and stand. And let's be clear, charging for your work doesn't make you less passionate. It makes you more sustainable. It ensures that your passion can last, that your work can continue, and that you won't burn out trying to please everyone. Passion that doesn't pay becomes a... It weighs heavy on your shoulders when the bills come due and your calendar is full, but your wallet is empty. You owe it to yourself and your craft to make sure that your skill brings not just joy to others, but stability. Here's the good news. Once you start charging fairly, something remarkable happens. You attract higher quality opportunities. People take you seriously. They show up on time. They listen. They implement. Why? Because they have something at stake now. Money makes people... When they invest in you, they also invest in themselves. And that partnership leads to better results, stronger relationships, and a deeper respect on both sides. You stop being a helper and start being a collaborator. You also give others permission to do... When you charge for your skill, you normalize the idea that expertise deserves reward. You inspire others in your field to raise their standards. You shift the culture from exploitation to empowerment. That's how change starts, not by asking for fairness, but by demanding it through your act. Every time you say, I deserve to be paid, you make it easier for the next person to say the same. You don't need to justify your rates. You don't need to prove your worth with endless free samples. You don't need to argue with people who say you're too expensive. Your job is to offer your best and let the right people find you. If someone says that's too much, you say, understand. Perhaps this is the right fit. I move on. Every moment you waste explaining yourself to someone who doesn't see your value as a moment stolen from someone who... And remember, this isn't just about money. It's about identity. It's about standing up and saying, I matter. What I do matters. What I have built matters. That message doesn't just change your income. It changes your life. You walk differently. You speak with clarity. You stop chasing approval and start owning your role as a creator, a builder, a contributor to something bigger. You weren't given your gift to be ignored. You weren't meant to stay invisible while others profit off your energy. You were given that skill for a reason, to serve, to lead, to earn, to change lives. And in order to fulfill that purpose, you need to treat your gift with the seriousness it deserves. That begins when you stop doing it for